Hello fam, and welcome to your boy, Geek Ghost Gamer Top on the microphone, and we have some pretty interesting and observatory news. And by observatory news, this one will probably blow your minds away.
I'm very upset. Shut up and sit the head down.
Yes, the icon of 3D fighting games doth spoken. The fighting game genre is about to change forever, thanks to an unprecedented alliance between two of its greatest rivals. Forget everything you thought you knew about the battle lines drawn in the FGC. The man who guided Tekken for over 3 decades, Katsuhiro Harada, has departed from Bandai Namco. That alone is seismic, but his destination is what's truly groundbreaking. He has joined forces with his longtime rivals at SNK to launch a revolutionary new studio, and the shockwaves are already being felt. This isn't just a new studio announcement, it's a declaration of war on the status quo. We are talking about a move so significant, it has the potential to redefine what a fighting game can be. Today, we're breaking down how the shared vision, SNK's massive investment, and the exodus of top-tier talent from the Tekken team are set to evolve the entire fighting game genre. To really get the sheer magnitude of this news, you have to understand the history. For decades, the fighting game community has been defined by its titans. In one corner, you have Bandai Namco, with Tekken reigning as the undisputed king of 3D fighters. At the helm, a singular, iconic figure, Katsuhiro Harada. For over 30 years, Harada wasn't just the director of the Tekken series, he was its face, its voice, and its fiercest defender. From his early days pushing the game in local Japanese arcades to becoming the general manager of Bandai Namco's original IP, Harada's DNA is woven into every frame of Tekken. His departure from the company at the end of 2025, after a milestone 30th anniversary for the franchise, marked the end of an era. In the other corner, you have SNK, a company forged in the fiery crucible of the 90s arcade boom. SNK is the master of 2D fighters. Franchises like the King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, and Samurai Showdown are not just games. They are cultural institutions with a raw, distinct style that commands a die-hard global following. SNK has always been the gritty, stylish counterparts to Tekken's polished, technical gameplay. Their rivalry wasn't just about sales figures, it was a philosophical battle fought across joysticks and CRT screens, a clash of 2D and 3D, of different design sensibilities and community cultures. The idea of these two forces collaborating was, for the longest time, a hypothetical dream scenario discussed in hushed tones on forums and at tournaments. It was the stuff of fantasy, until now. On May 1st, 2026, the fantasy became a reality. In an official press release that sent the entire industry into a frenzy, SNK Corporation announced its investment in a brand new game development studio, VS Studio SNK Co. Limited, and who was appointed as the representative director and CEO, none other than Katsuhiro Harada himself. But he isn't coming alone. He's bringing a brain trust of key veterans from the Tekken team with him. Leading this ex-Bandai Namco charge is another key veteran, Yuichi Yonemori, who directed multiple games including Tekken Tag Tournament 1 and 2, and will now serve as VS Studio's Chief Creative Officer. The studio, headquartered in Shinagawa, Tokyo, has been established as a consolidated subsidiary of SNK. This means SNK isn't just a passive investor, they're providing direct backing and support, integrating this new venture into their corporate structure while giving Harada and his team the freedom to build something new from the ground up. Harada's own words from the announcement reveal the ambition driving this project. The studio's official philosophy is beyond tradition, crafted to perfection. In a statement, Harada elaborated, "Having been involved in game development for many years, I have constantly considered how I want to spend my time as a developer and what kind of environment allows developers to perform at their best. VS Studio is one answer to that question. This isn't just corporate jargon. It's a direct reference to his well-documented frustrations with the creative limitations of a large corporate structure, a promise of a developer-first environment. Even the name VS Studio is layered with meaning. Harada explained that it represents their roots in video game soft, the spirit of versus that is core to the genre, and a direct challenge to tradition. But it goes deeper, symbolizing concepts like visionary standard and vanguard spirit, all pointing towards one thing: innovation. Adding a powerful narrative layer to the announcement, SNK's own legendary producer, Yasuaki Oda, warmly welcomed his former rival. Oda described Harada as a longtime friend and worthy rival, admitting that we've long discussed the hypothetical scenario of working together, and now that dream has become a reality. It's a statement that acknowledges their shared history while looking forward to a collaborative future. A perfect encapsulation of the excitement and potential this partnership holds. So, a new studio is born. Big deal, right? That happens all the time. But this is different. This is a fundamental realigning of power and creative strategy within the fighting game world. To understand why VS Studio is poised to change everything, we need to look beyond the press release and analyze the strategic vision at play. First, let's talk about SNK's broader strategy. In recent years, SNK has been making aggressive moves, fueled by a massive investment. The company has stated its ambition to become a top 10 global publisher. This isn't just talk. They've launched KOF Studio to revolutionize their legacy IPs like the King of Fighters and Fatal Fury. They've opened SNK Games Singapore, a new hub focused on AAA development and fostering international collaboration. VS Studio is not an isolated project. It's the third pillar in a powerful new development ecosystem. Imagine the synergy. Harada's team in Tokyo can focus purely on game design, collaborating with KOF Studio on iconic IPs, while the Singapore team provides a pipeline of tech innovation. This structure is designed for one thing: to build better games, faster. Now, let's factor in the vision of Harada and his new team. Speaking in an interview with 4Gamer, Harada confirmed that the games he makes won't deviate from the action and competitive player versus player elements he is known for. This collaboration frees him from the constraints of being the Tekken guy. He and his handpicked team now have the keys to SNK's kingdom. When asked about potentially working on SNK's franchises, he stated he wouldn't rule it out, saying, "Speaking personally, there are certainly things I'd like to do. Imagine a new Fatal Fury with the gameplay depth and complexity of a Tekken title. Imagine a brand new IP that blends Harada's 3D expertise with SNK's iconic 2D art style. The VS in the studio's name could very well hint at a new era of crossover, not just between characters, but between entire design philosophies. The possibilities are staggering." Now, while the hype is immense and absolutely justified, a healthy dose of critical analysis is necessary. It's important to approach this with the same discerning eye that the FGC applies to a new balance patch. This is a dream team, but the road ahead is not without its potential challenges. The most significant point of discussion within the community is the context of SNK's ownership. Since 2022, SNK has been almost entirely owned by the electronic gaming development company, EGDC. Yes, the Saudi prince is at it again, a subsidiary of a foundation linked to the Saudi Arabian government. This has been a point of controversy due to the country's human rights record. While SNK leadership has stated this ownership doesn't affect us in any way, it's a complex reality that hangs in the background of SNK's ambitious global expansion, and it's a factor that the community will continue to watch closely as VS Studio begins its work. Furthermore, let's look at the official statements. Yasuaki Oda, in a moment of refreshing honesty during the announcement, admitted, "To be honest, nothing has been decided yet." While he followed up with confidence about the future, this tells us that VS Studio is starting from a blank slate. Building a studio from the ground up, hiring the right talent, and developing a new project will take time. The studio is actively recruiting new team members who share our vision, but its success will hinge on the ability to attract even more world-class developers to execute on the ambitious goals of Harada and his core group. We, as a community, need to temper our expectations for an immediate release, which already has been released. The seismic shift this partnership promises won't happen overnight. As Harada has said, it'll be a process of building, prototyping, and refining. The ultimate success of VS Studio depends not just on the legendary names at the top, but on the team they build and the first game they deliver. So, what does this all mean? It means that for the first time in modern fighting game history, two of the genre's most influential and historically opposed forces are united. Katsuhiro Harada, freed from the legacy of a 30-year franchise and joined by key talent from his former team, now has the backing, the resources, and the creative freedom to build his vision of the future. SNK, in its quest to become a global powerhouse, has made a masterstroke investment, securing one of the most respected minds in the industry to lead a new charge. A combination of SNK's multi-studio ecosystem, the vision of Harada's new team, and the immense potential of a library of iconic IPs create a perfect storm for innovation. This isn't just about making another fighting game, it's about evolving the entire competitive ecosystem. The challenges are real, but the potential is undeniable. This collaboration has the power to spark a new golden age for fighting games, pushing the entire genre forward and forcing every other developer to step up their game. The rivalry that once defined an era has become the partnership that could define the future. But I want to turn it over to you. What is the dream project you want to see come out of Versus Studio? Should Harada and his team take on an existing SNK IP like the King of Fighters or Fatal Fury? Or should they create something entirely new? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on this and all other deep dives into the world of fighting games, make sure you get subscribed to Geek Goes Gamer Top, and the notification bell is certainly hot, because the story of Versus Studio is just getting started. And what should we ask of Harada from this?
And don't ask me for beep.
Well, he has said. So, that's it for the seismic news and Harada's bold SNK vision. Welcome back, Harada. We have missed you. Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut. Anyway, fam, so thank you so much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games. I will check you out in the next one. Away!